Good evening, everyone. We're going to give it a few more minutes. It's just 6 o'clock. I think looks like I got one commissioner on at the moment. So we'll give it a few minutes. I know Commissioner Kelly is going to be a few minutes late. She said go ahead and start without her when we're ready.
If I'm ever late, you should call the police because I'm never late. You know me, I like to keep it moving.
Yeah, me too. We'll give it one more minute here and then we'll go ahead and get started.
Quick note, you guys. Craig made it out of surgery and he is all good. Just a quick update.
Thanks. Somebody do me a favor and call Commissioner Hay just to remind him. I don't see Commissioner Hay on.
Okay, I'll call him.
Thank you. Okay, it's 6:02. We'll go ahead and get started. Welcome, everybody. This is the agenda review for the Tuesday, June 3rd commission meeting. Dan's not going to be able to make it tonight, so I'll be running the agenda review. He has an engagement. He had a prior engagement he had to be at. And we'll go ahead and get started here. A couple of things I wanted to mention. Some changes. One of the changes we made was under bids and purchases over 100. We got rid of the 100 part and just called it bids and purchases, so that we're consolidating all bids and purchases into one area on the agenda. Because we used to have bids under 100 in the consent area, and then only the ones over 100. So we're consolidating that all. That's one change that's on the agenda. Another change that we made after publishing is there was two items: watershed master plan and floodplain species plan. I removed those from the agenda. They're large documents, and I wanted to at least give the commission an opportunity to review those before we voted on them, and then potentially maybe set up one-on-one meetings if you guys had questions. So we'll make sure that we get with you, make sure you have a copy if you want a hard copy or digital copy, and then set up some meetings for those. And the only other thing that I wanted to mention is that we are potentially adding two items, two software purchase items for PD. Those will be looking for those. They'll be published probably tomorrow, maybe Monday. One of the reasons we're waiting to put those on, obviously, because we have the legislative break here. There's some items that have been kind of moving forward and shifting back a little bit. So please bear with us as we're trying to accommodate all these requests to make sure that we get things in a timely manner and they're not being held up due to the legislative break. Okay. All right, with that said, we'll go ahead and start going through the agenda. You want to go through the announcements? First announcement is just announcement by utilities. They're going to do their system-wide chlorination starting July 3rd to the 24th. The second announcement is the Recreation and Cultural Services Department is going to be doing some outreach meetings in regard to Palmetto Park, Greens Park. There's an existing park that we have that is in need of some upgrades or repairs. So we're reaching out to the community here to get their idea of what they would like to see in this park to make it more successful, more appetizing to the community. There's some things there that happen that are not so good. So we're trying to really get the consensus of the community, whether they want to keep the park there, do they like to see it upgraded, move the park. So it's really a community input meeting over at Carolyn Sims on June 5th and June 12th. So we're doing two meetings to make sure we get a lot of input on that project. Advisory board appointments. Does anybody want me to go through those or pull that up? I think there's one for the Building Board of Adjustments and Appeals, Earl Baker.
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. On to consent. Public audience. I mean, as you know, based on our last meeting and some of the news stories, I think we can expect that there'll be people there speaking on the vacant land on Nichols Avenue or Road. And then also Head Start sent us an email today. We hadn't heard back from them. We were trying to put them on this June 3rd meeting for discussion. They may show up as well to ask for extension of their lease. All right, consent. You want to go over the second quarter Schoolhouse Museum report? We also have Miriam is online if there's any questions on that particular item.
I'm good.
Okay. 6B, just a resolution approving a lighting agreement with FPL. We're modifying, I think it's 43 poles on Federal Highway. You know, a lot of the poles, some of them were damaged, some of them, the lights are being replaced, some of them are swapping out wood poles. There's been a lot of changes in the FPL when their hardening project that kind of messed up some of the lighting down there. And so that this project is going to remedy that. And 6C is we're proposing an amendment to the parking fee schedule. I'm going to pull this one, open this one up. So we're looking to amend the parking schedule, comprehensive fee schedule. Fabian, did you want to talk about this since you're on?
Absolutely. Yes, so I can speak to this. So what we're looking to do is make a couple changes. First, the addition, I'll start at the top here, the addition of the military veterans parking discount for their parking pass over at Oceanfront. So that would drop down to be in line with what the senior resident rate is as $50 a year. Our citation fees, we're looking to move that to $40 a month. And the reason because of that, or the reason for that is because the current citation fee of $25 is about the same of the max parking. So people have just been taking the citations instead of paying for a full day of parking and just kind of playing the odds. So this just kind of helps us keep people honest and making sure that they're actually paying their meter. Another thing we added was the user error processing fee. This is something that's done in pretty much every other municipality we looked at. And that's pretty much if somebody in Park Mobile puts in the incorrect license plate number or something like that. We forgive the citation, but we still have a $10 processing fee for the staff time of having to go in and adjust that error that the user made on their end.
Yes, sir. Yes, we can hear you, Commissioner Hay, Vice Mayor.
No.
Vice Mayor, can you hear us?
No. Okay.
Good.
Oh, okay. And lastly, we are looking to implement a 2-hour minimum on our parking at both Oceanfront as well as Harvey Oyer, and increase the parking fee to $3.50 an hour. We did some studies with municipalities across the county as well as in Broward and Miami-Dade, and we were pretty much the lowest across the board. So this still keeps us lower than most municipalities, and that'll be part of the presentation that we have for you all on Tuesday. But this gets us to a point where we can cover some of these expenses we have with the upgrade of the kiosks that we have to have looming here, the new contract with Park Mobile, as well as some other additional amenities we're looking to add, such as the parking counters and the application where you'll be able to see various things about the parking that's happening, as well as upgrades to our citation software. So some benefits will be coming with these increases.
Can you talk a little bit more about the counters and what you mean by counters?
Sure, absolutely. So if anybody's been to the Arts Garage, for example, over at the city of Delray, when you pull into the garage, and this is also at pretty much every airport in South Florida now too, you can see exactly how many parking spots are left on each level. And when you pull up to the levels as well too, it tells you, to the right you have this many spots, to the left you have this many spots. So it's pretty much that technology. We're talking to the same company that Delray used for that. And with that too, there is the capability to get an app where folks can log in and be able to see how many spots are available before they even leave the house. So that can help them determine, do I drive? Do I take an Uber over or a circuit or something like that? It'll help stop with that congestion that we get during the busy beach season, where Ocean Ridge, pretty much we back up traffic on the entire island while people wait for individuals to leave the beach. They'll be able to check the app and know before they even get there to the beach what the exact status is.
All right, thanks, Fabian.
No
Any
problem.
questions?
Do we
Andrew,
have
Go ahead.
do we have the comparisons in the presentation? Like, what does Boca charge per hour?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we have comparables as part of the presentation. So you'll be able to see the hourly rates in other municipalities, as well as some other facts and figures to help justify why we're looking to make this change.
One thing I want to say, at least for my district, we serve a lot of seniors. I don't see any of my constituents, like at least the seniors, using this app. And, you know, looking at how much it's going to cost, like I think it's good that we're trying to be, you know, trying to modernize and things like that. But, you know, for my constituents specifically, it's a lot of seniors, a lot of low-income people, and they're not even going to know how to use these apps.
Yes.
I think we need to keep that in mind, you know, when we make these changes, because, and like, how many people are really going to download the app? So one question that I had is like, how much is this software going to cost in total? Like specifically the software?
Yes. So I can speak to all of that. So first thing, as it pertains to seniors, we're not changing any of the annual pass fees. So seniors can still get an annual pass for the beach for $50. And the only places that we're currently monitoring in recreation, at least, that we charge for parking are just those two locations, Oceanfront Park over there at the beach, as well as Harvey Oyer. The software is web-based, so you don't necessarily need to download an application on your phone. You just log into the website. So we'll have a link on our website or everywhere we can post it. And obviously we'll do social media posts to kind of show people how to do it. But you don't have to install anything on your device. You can just go to the website and kind of see the status. It's not something that's going to be a requirement for people or anything like that. It doesn't change the Park Mobile software that we're already using. And folks that do go to pay to park as well too, they can continue to use the kiosk. So you don't have to pay via your smartphone or anything like that. You can physically go up to the kiosk. And something we're looking to do with that too, just to kind of modernize as well, is we are looking to implement tap to pay at all of the kiosks too, which is currently not available at any of our locations. But this will help save us a ton of money, because we notoriously get credit cards or just pieces of paper and things like that jammed into the credit card slot. And that's about $2,000 every single time we have to replace those. So that's going to be huge for us. And we stopped taking coins a couple months back too, which has helped us tremendously for the same thing. As it pertains to the implementation of the software, the initial year, I believe, is somewhere between 80 to 95,000. But after that, the annual cost is about. Well, no, but that's for Angela. That's for Commissioner Cruz. That's for all of the equipment and stuff too. Because remember, to get that parking counter system, you have to install sensors in every single parking spot.
I get it, but I just want to say this for the record. Like, we are in the middle of a recession. The cost of food, the cost of gas, the cost of everything has gone up. We've increased our utilities. We've increased everything. FP&L went up 20% last year, and people are struggling to put food on the table. I don't believe that this is a time to spend $95,000 on a parking software, as good as it is, and as you know, as agile as it is and as modernizing as it is. I don't believe that this is the time. Like, we're seeing people get laid off from jobs. We're seeing people's pensions go down. We're seeing like tariffs. The stock market is like shaky. The economy in itself, you know, even developers coming and asking for TIF. Like, I don't believe that this is the best time to be increasing the costs on our consumers right now.
So nothing has been put in motion for the parking counters quite yet. We just engaged them in those initial conversations so we can start getting some quotes and figuring out exactly how much it would cost. But this is something that we would be looking to implement next year or the year after. That's not anything that's being put in motion right now. The parking counters thing, these additional fees will help us in order to be able to move in that direction, as well as replacing a lot of the equipment that we have to replace right now regardless, because a lot of our kiosks are going down and those are quite expensive, as well as the staffing fees and so on. So the main focus is that. The parking counter is just an added benefit that we can do, but there's no CIP in place or anything like that. There's no purchase order or anything like that in place right now. That's just the hopes of what it would look like in the future. Just to kind of clarify.
Yeah, and thank you for explaining. I mean, I like the idea of doing these innovative things. I just, I think if we had thinking about the people that we serve, like working families struggling to put food on the table and seniors struggling to even pay their bills and even stay in their homes, the cost of housing insurance, it's just, I don't know. I just don't think that this is the best time to increase our parking rates. Not everybody, I mean, it would be great for everyone to do the annual fee. But I don't know if everybody knows about it or wants to, do the annual fee. So that's just my 2 cents. It's up to the rest of the board. But, I'm not opposed to potentially doing a gradual, I don't even like the increase in parking, honestly. But if we were to do it, like, this would not be the best time. If maybe like in a year or two, if the economy gets better, sure. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents. Thank you.
Completely understand. Thank you. No problem.
Any more questions on this item?
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. It's Commissioner Kelly. Hi, Fabian.
Hi,
Thank you.
Commissioner Kelly.
Thank you for this. I know I owe you a phone call, but
No
I think it's exciting when we're improving our technology and we can capture charges that we weren't capturing because people are breaking our machines so they can avoid paying $3 to park somewhere. And we're spending thousands of dollars to replace and repair machinery that gets broken because somebody doesn't want to pay $3 to park at one of our parks. So I think it's exciting when we're continuing to look at ways that we can improve the services that we provide our residents, because our residents depend on us to make sure that they can have access to the beach and that they can do all those things and that they show up and machines aren't broken. So, I love the digital idea. I have a Park mobile app. I'm sure most people online have the Park mobile app. It's super easy to use and it's super convenient. So, I look forward to having more conversations. Yes.
All right. Just so what is this? $100,000 for a parking app?
Well, right now the item we're going over is the fee increase. The items for the extension for the Park Mobile and the new the software for the enforcement is later on, and it's coming up.
Yeah,
I think they kind of got all combined into one.
Yes, correct. There's no purchase being made.
Senior rates. Remember when we talked about the parks? And can you guys hear me?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yep.
Yeah. You can go ahead, Commissioner Turkin. I'll finish after you're done.
I think he's cutting out.
Right. I haven't seen that. Is that in the backup?
We're losing. You're cutting in and out, Commissioner Turkin. Can you repeat that?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me? Did we figure out like that chart for seniors? I know we had discussed a few months ago about like the senior rates.
Yeah, there is senior rates in here.
Yes.
Senior resident rate is $50, and we added a military veterans rate for $50.
Okay.
For the annual permit.
All right. And that's for the boat ramp, or is that for the beach?
That's for the beach.
That's for the beach.
Okay.
Boat ramp is $200 a year for Florida residents, and it's $350 for non-residents.
Yeah, I think we need to lower the the one for the boat ramp for residents. We should lower it increase anything. We should be.
You're breaking up again. Sorry, didn't catch that.
Yeah.
A little bit.
All right. Yeah, I think we need a bigger decrease for the boat ramp parking for residents. And I don't know, I don't know about the rate increases. I feel like we just did this like a year ago, right?
I don't remember exactly the last. It would have been. I think it was mid-year or something that I remember. I don't have the exact.
Is there a graph that shows the historical context of how often and what the amount of rate increases we've done for Parks and Rec?
I'm sure we could find the last time we changed the rate for that. But it's been, I've been here for just over a year now, and it's been $250 since I've gotten here. So it wasn't within the past 12 months. I can speak to that at least. It's been $250. Yeah.
Okay.
And
we
as
can
I
add that
mentioned before,
to his presentation. The last couple of times we've increased fees.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just want to know, it's important when we have this conversation that we're prepared and knowing when was the last time we increased whatever rate it is, utilities, parking fees, I don't care. How much did we increase it by? How long before? You know what I mean? Because there's always nice graphs that we get for wanting to increase the rates and the comparisons with other cities, but I need a historical context every time there's going to be a conversation about increasing rates, because you know what I mean. I just don't want to. Yeah. I just don't want that to be a habit of not having that information there.
That makes sense. We'll make sure going forward when we're doing increases, we give you a little historical view of where they were, whether a 5-year or 3-year look back.
I appreciate that, Commissioner Turkin, because me being new, it's nice to have some of that information.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got to make a decision and we've increased our rates 2 or 3 times, people are going to be like, you just did it last year. Why are you doing it again?
But I do agree with the citation part, because when people are skirting around that, and I don't know if there's been some situations over there with people just driving around, which I see a lot. People just keep driving around and wondering if there's any parking.
And then to the new technology, I just want to say the $95,000, we need more code officers. We need to be spending more money on code officers, not new technology.
Okay. Okay. Fabian, quick question on Oceanfront Park. I'll get back to my comments.
Sure.
I would like for us to look at, and I've spoken to multiple staff members about this, into doing some, and I know Lake Worth Beach does this, doing some reserved parking specifically for Boynton Beach residents, because what we do find is that even though they've paid for their permits and their residents, that there isn't any priority for the residents to, and I know Lake Worth Beach does that. I would like to look at, what other cities do. Like I said, I know Lake Worth Beach does. So I don't think that there's any reason why we couldn't prioritize our residents, at Oceanfront Park. It's a conversation I've had with a couple of residents. I've had it with staff. So I would like to look at doing that, as we move forward and have this conversation.
Sure. Absolutely. I completely agree. It's something that's come up before, and it's something we're working on. So I can absolutely work on that. No problem.
Okay, great.
Everyone. Hello, everyone. This is Ted from Parking Services, Ted Louis-Jacques. I just wanted to answer a couple of questions for you. The last time the parking rate was increased was November of 2023. I just had to pull it up from my email, and I was looking for that information to provide. So it went from 150 up to 250, where we currently are right now, and it's still the lowest. And from Palm Beach County, Broward, Miami-Dade, the Treasure Coast, we're the least expensive city that charges for parking. And the new addition that we thought about implementing with this was the veterans discount at $50 along with the seniors. So I can provide more information if needed. I was just jotting down the questions that was being asked prior to jumping in here.
Great, thank you. I did have one quick question while you're on the line. I know we're not increasing at the boat ramp. We're not increasing the annual fees for that this year, right? And I'm just curious, and this isn't information that you're probably going to have tonight, but was there a decrease or an increase when we did increase the fee at the boat ramp for the annual permits? Did we lose any people, or did we, have we continued to sell permits at either same or more than before? And that's, like I said, yep. I know that's probably not information you know readily right now, but I'd be curious to know if we saw any sort of reduction when we increased that, or if it stayed the same or even increased.
Yeah, that number has been at Harvey Oil, the number has been a steady at 1,667 permits sold there for Harvey Oil. So it has not changed much. So it remains the same. And reason why we also feel comfortable with the 2-hour implementation at the beach is because the average stay of any person that frequent the beach is 2 hours and 9 minutes. So they're spending that money and paying for it anyways while they're visiting Ocean Point Park.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for all the info, guys.
Of course, it's our pleasure. And we're here for questions. I mean, feel free to call me if you guys think of anything else between now and Tuesday.
You're the best, Fabian. I just want to let you know that.
Oh, it's our pleasure. I have a great team, just like Ted over here. So I'm a lucky man. But thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Item 6D, simply the sewer to septic conversion we did in Hypoluxo. When we did the project, there's a need to adjust the easement around the lift station there. Obviously, when you build things, they don't always go in exactly to the dimensions that you propose, so we're adjusting that easement. That's what this item is for. 6E is we're bringing this item for you guys to approve the entire rehabilitation of 235 Southwest 10th and 404 Northwest 16th. We have a threshold of a certain amount of money that we can use for rehabilitation. These two projects need a little bit more money, so we have to bring this to commission to get authorization to do that work. And 95, it depends on which category they're in as far as how much money can be pushed out through that particular item project. 6F, Shauna had mentioned if you guys had any, this is a settlement on a litigation matter. If you have any questions on that, you could reach out to her directly. She didn't want to discuss it here in the meeting. 6G, we had a math error on one of the backup documents in the budget transfer. It stated 7297. It should have been 7497, or vice versa. It was a Scribner's error on that particular item. 6H is working with Habitat and rehabilitation for Mr. Hall, who's a veteran out in Leesville. They're asking for additional time to finish that project. So we're going to give them another 2 months so that they can finalize that and get the CO on the project. 6I is an extension of our hazard mitigation grant for our watershed master plan. This was the master plan that was on the agenda tonight. I ended up moving it off based on it's a 140-page document, and there's some very technical information in there. So I wanted to get with you individually before we approve it. This item is simply just extending this approval so that we can complete the grant and get reimbursed the cost for the study that we did. Just so you know, those two studies, the watershed master plan and this floodplain species plan are requirements in the community rating system. That's why we're doing those. Those will take us from a class 5 to a class 4, which will afford all the residents additional 5% discount on flood insurance. So once we get those items back to the commission and approved, then we can apply to go to a class 4 rating for CRS, and that's flood rating system for the city. 7A, this is our first task order based on the approval you guys gave us to do the additional paving. This was the one in Chapel Hill for $411,000 with a 10% contingency. I would just note that Kevin did get the pricing in. This is a little bit under the budget, what we initially estimated. Kevin did get the pricing for Gulfview Harbor, which is a little bit more than what we estimated. We got the pricing for Meadows. It came in under budget, and he's waiting on the third price for MLK. We do intend to bring Gulfview Harbor, Meadows, and MLK to commission for approval on July 15th, and then we'll start that work shortly thereafter.
What about Chapel Hill?
This is Chapel Hill right here. This item 7A is the Chapel Hill resurfacing.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Thanks.
7B is the utilities department has a minor construction contract where we pre-qualify vendors, and we're allowed to do work orders up to the task orders up to them for $300,000. This is just awarding that our pre-qualified contractor status to those 4 contractors: Johnson Davis, B&B Underground, R&M Service, and Hinterland Group. See, 7C is award of RFP for project management services for our Sandcastle project. If you remember the Sandcastle project, we were awarded a $16.5 million grant to do water, sewer, drainage improvements in the city area of Sandcastle. As a part of that, we are also doing so that award is for planning, implementation, and design, permitting, and construction. So we're bringing on the project manager to assist us through the whole entire part of the project. And it's all paid for through the grant. 7D is award the final rankings for the RFQ for the design of the Chapel Hill Drainage Improvement Project. Baxter Woodman was the recommended for the top proposer, and we're looking for authorization to negotiate that contract. So you guys award it, and then we would negotiate the contract and bring it back to you once we have the final pricing. 7E, this is the parking enforcement software we talked about earlier. So our current contract and vendor, maybe you want to talk about the current contract and why we're switching over?
Absolutely. Yes, so our last contract came to an end. We extended while we explored other options of providers for not only just parking or meter pay options, but also citation and permitting software. So we stayed with Park Mobile for the pay meter or pay by the hour parking software, but we are switching to a new citation and permitting software. We got a lot of complaints from the public about the previous software we were using, as well as it was ridiculously expensive for the service we were getting. So my parking services team, led by Ted, started exploring other options, and they found IPS, which is also used by a ton of municipalities in the area, which is significantly cheaper. I mean, we're saving thousands of dollars a month by making this switch. And the user interface is much better. And it's much user-friendly, more user-friendly across the board. And it comes with more updated equipment and software for people to be able to use as well, too. So it allows us to upload images of any violations, for example, and additional details. So folks aren't just getting a ticket number, they're having a full breakdown of the location, the time that the ticket was issued, photos of the vehicle potentially, links directly for them to make payment. So it really gets us to the 21st century while also saving us a ton of money.
You want to do 6F or 7F as well for the Park Mobile while you're on, Fabian?
Sure. Yes. Yeah. So same thing for that. So the first one is for IPS. And as I mentioned before, that is the one for citations and issuing permits. So folks that are getting these annual passes, they'll be using that software as well. And then Park Mobile is for the actual kiosks as well as the application on for the phone, as well as any type of other services, so text to pay and things like that. So our pay by the hour parking is through Park Mobile.
All right. 7G, we're just amending our annual expenditure for purchase of some equipment from Sunbelt Hydraulic and Equipment. Just going from 100,000 to 200,000, just based on the number of vehicles we're repairing and equipment and stuff that we get that sole source from through them. 7H is replacing some of our network equipment. We just need to increase the expenditure from 2 to 6 to facilitate that project over the term of the contract. That's replacing network switches and equipment inside of City Hall and a couple of other buildings. 7I is a mutual aid agreement between Phillips Jordan and the city. This is our debris hauler. This is just a document we have to sign to engage them to make sure that we have them ready for when, if there was an emergency, then we needed their services. And that's and we're piggybacking through the Solid Waste Authority. All right, 8A, B, and C, I'm going to let Amanda take. Amanda, you're on.
Yep, I'm here. I almost pressed leave instead of the mic. That would have been bad. Okay, so 8A is the conditional use approval. This is for an existing church. They're doing some minor modifications and enclosing some spaces, but really they're doing the conditional use just because they haven't done it before and it was legally non-conforming before. Since they're doing work, we're bringing them into conformance.
That was 8B.
Oh, sorry, I did out of order.
8A is the
8A is the park impact fee. Yeah. This is the second reading for the park impact fee that we did at the last meeting. This is essentially striking the Palm Beach County park impact fee from our code. Any questions on A or B? Okay. Item C is a variance for an existing community, Mariners Way. They have some problems with some existing docks on the north side of the canal. They were built, again, they're legally non-conforming, but they have to do some work to them. And they are asking for a variance from the restriction that says that docks have to maintain, have to maintain 1/4 width of the waterway for navigation. So essentially the longest dock will be 32 feet. It's an intrusion of about 4 feet. Are there any questions on that one?
And then 10A, I'm going to let RJ, you want to go through this one? This is the CBDG annual allocations. RJ, you on?
You're mute, RJ.
RJ is on, but I can take this. So this is Candace. I went ahead and I've sent an email to the commission. Basically, RJ and 2 other staff members, Marinara Grants Manager, as well as a member of finance, they received the applications requesting funding for October 1st through September 30th of 2026. Based on that, they've given some recommendations based on the scoring. Each of the commissioners have received those applications, and this is basically just a discussion item so that we can get direction from the commission, because RJ is going to have to submit a full report in August. So we're looking for feedback. So when he comes back to the commission in August, we have exactly where you want these funds to go. So we're looking for direction from the commission on this item.
Exactly, and I apologize. I was trying to mute myself. Yeah, just as Candy said, we got this funding, and it's going to be from October 1st, 2025 to next year, 2026. So, and those are just basic recommendation, and pretty much just say what Candy just mentioned.
Thanks, RJ. Hey, Candace, is the iCare? I think it's iCare, the Sea Turtle Adventure. Yeah. Are they on there? I think
they were somebody, and RJ can continue, but they are an applicant. They weren't ranked the highest, but that's when you can go ahead and, as a commission, decide that you'd like to have the funds go wherever you'd like them to go, but that's just where they rank. So those are the scores that Andrew's pulled up, but obviously it's underneath the commission's discretion to tell us where those funds go.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think they're looking for like 5,000. I don't think they're looking for too much, from what I understand. And they're under the impression that they're on the list.
No, they submitted. Go ahead, RJ.
Yeah, they submitted an application, and basically these recommendations are just based on the ranking. But as Candace mentioned, City Commission had the discretion of how to reallocate or allocate these funds.
Got it. All right.
I have a quick question. Can we bring historical data of who was funded in the past maybe like 2 or 3 years?
Yeah, absolutely. I can provide that for you the discussion on Tuesday for sure.
Okay. Thanks so much.
We'll get that to you before, so you guys can look at that, and so that way it can be part of the discussion at the meeting on Tuesday.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. And it would be nice if we could do because this is a good list, but if we could have like maybe some options with the dollar amount. I see that we do have dollar amounts at the bottom, but maybe like just a quick overview of like how much is available for each category, and then how much each organization requested, so we can see it almost like an Excel sheet, or something like that. Just a quick way to view it, because the meetings, we don't want to make it too long, but we just kind of want to get through it.
Yeah, attached to the agenda there is a summary. There is a summary, and the summary kind of tells what is available on each category. It's part of the agenda item. It says a summary. I don't know if Andrew can pull it up, but it's part of the attachments.
Yeah, it's up. Yeah.
And I do believe that's part of the email that I sent, but we'll double check that and get that to you as well.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you guys very much.
That actually is part of the email. Candace is correct.
Thanks a lot.
Okay. And then 10B, Danny Michello is going to do an update on our signs. I believe she got the design of the whole sign package complete, and we want to get direction from you guys that we hit the mark and consensus to move forward with finalizing the locations, the design, permitting, and then start the construction. And that's all the agenda. One item I did want to ask if we could remove item 11E from the agenda, being that the governor approved removing fluoride from water in the state of Florida.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay. All right, we're going to remove it, and when we republish to add the other two items, we'll remove that item. I didn't want to remove it without at least talking to you guys first.
Great. Andrew, in 10B, are the backups in there to see the signage options, or?
Oh.
No. So
no, we're going to be we're going to add the presentation. They were working on it today on some last minute changes on it. So we'll publish it, but I'll have her email it to the commission, her presentation ahead of time.
Because I'm not there on Tuesday, I would like to see it and at least be able to provide feedback if you guys are going to be deciding on stuff. I'm not going to be there, so I would like to at least be able to see it and be able to provide my own feedback.
Sure, no problem. Absolutely, we'll make that happen
tonight.
Thank you.
Can we make it part of the agenda backup?
We will. It'll be published tomorrow when we republish to add the PD items. We'll add that presentation to the actual backup of the agenda.
Perfect. Thank you, Andrew. And then I was muted for when you went over the sandcastle, but I did have a question. I know we talked earlier about this, but there's the incorporated community that's part of the city, and that's where the grant is going. Is there any way to find out from the sandcastle area that's unincorporated how many of those homes have been annexed into the city that are now technically part of the city that we're serving?
What do you mean they've been annexed? They're
like
maybe Go ahead.
So there's the sandcastle that's unincorporated, and then there's the incorporated
Correct.
area. So for the unincorporated area, there's I think
You want to know how many homes there are in that area?
Yeah.
Amanda, do you happen to know offhand, based on the study we did?
Not off the top of my head.
We can get that information for you.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be a problem.
Awesome, thank you. And just to see, because I know some of those homes have like either annexed into the city or are using our water utilities. So just wanted to see like how many homes it is because of the whole septic tank issue thing. So,
Okay.
All right, thanks a lot.
Yep. All right.
Hey, Andrew, real quick. Hey, I hopped on later. Did anyone bring up the whole Boynton Forest thing?
Just the fact that they would be there, probably, we're looking that there'd probably be people at public audience to speak about that. That was the only discussion I brought up.
Yeah, there's a lot of illuminating information that I've discovered, and so I do want an opportunity to address that right at the beginning. So just so no one's thrown off, I do plan on addressing that. And I think there's a little bit more due diligence that needs to be done. But I also think that there's I mean, at this point in time, from what I understand, is we're essentially, the city is negotiating with that LOI, correct? And there hasn't been there's no agreement as of where we sit today, correct?
Correct. Right now, you guys authorized it to be called surplus, and then authorized us to negotiate with the person who submitted the LOI. Prior to any further steps, we got to bring back a purchase and sale agreement, which the commission would have to approve.
Right. Okay. All right. What's the cost of like an environmental impact study? Is that something that could be administratively done, or is that something that needs a commission approval?
I believe it would probably be under the $50,000 threshold, and the manager could engage a consultant off our rotation to do a study there.
I don't think that's a bad idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have some information already based on we did a phase one. When the housing authority approached us to actually buy the 10 acres that they sold to the developer, we did a phase one at that time. So we do have a phase one environmental. It's not quite what you're describing, but there's some information there. So maybe we can just send that to the consultant, and they can build off of that.
Yeah. And can I also get that information?
Sure. Absolutely. Awesome. We'll send it to the whole commission. We'll send you guys we have the deeds and phase one. Any information we can make sure we can put a package together for each of the commission to have. We'll try to get it out tomorrow.
Thank you, Andrew. And to follow up on that, I think maybe somebody might have mentioned that I think one of the lots or one of the parcels was designated forest, but it was only one of them. It wasn't all. Is that right?
No. What we have is there is a deed restriction on one of the lots that we got from the church, which it designates it for a public purpose.
Okay.
It was the smallest parcel that's out there.
Understood. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. If that's it, then we'll adjourn the meeting, and we'll see you guys on Tuesday.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Just a reminder, I won't be there Tuesday, so have a great meeting.
Have a safe trip.
Thank you.
Yeah, safe travels.
Okay, yep.
Turk, and you're in charge of the time clock.
Oh, that thing.
Yes, good call. Yes.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.